welcome to Bugbear's Basement. I am Chester C. Busby III, and of course, I am joined by my panel. And today, after the news, we will be talking about the Doom Patrol. Sounds exciting. Very another kind of obscure, out of the way superhero team, and we're going to have some fun with it today. So, how you doing today, Booster, our pie expert from New Zealand? How you doing, man?
I'm doing great, but I betrayed the pie today. I had fried chicken again. I feel very naughty, Chester. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Well, the fried chicken is pretty good,
Oh
especially
yeah.
better than minced pie, for goodness gracious.
How dare you?
All right, and of course we are also joined by Tank Ferret. How you doing today?
I am all right, Chester. It's been a very productive day.
Oh, that's good to hear. It's good to hear. And of course we have the Denali Lama with us.
Hello, hello. Thank you for being here. A lot of news and a quirky story to boot.
Absolutely
So,
quirky is the word for it. And we will be getting to that very shortly. But of course, we want to mention all our links down below. Please check those out, ranging from our FanSpeak button on Facebook and contacts from me, as well as our podcast and our donation buttons. Please check those out. And of course, hitting that like button and subscribing is very useful to us. But hitting that share button is even better. It lets everybody know what we're doing and they come over here and join us. So I see over here in the chat already, we have P Money. He says hello, and I say hello back to you. Thundaro, who has changed his name again, is here, but welcome, sir. The DJD show says aloha. Well, aloha to you. And Gary Shipman is here. Hello, Gary. Nice to see you, Gary. And yeah, we're going to be getting into the Doom Patrol a little bit later, but we want to jump into the news first. Now, Denali, are there any announcements or anything you'd like to give before we jump into that?
well, we have Pencil for Life channel to be as the hosting channel for this week, Drawn in Quarter.
Mm-hmm.
And that's going to be on Thursday at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific time. And we're also going to have Johnny Allen, the creator of Stickman, as a guest on Fanspeak this Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern.
Well, that sounds awesome. Looking forward to that, and
Definitely.
hope you guys keep coming back and checking us out. And yeah, let's get right into the news, though, because we got a tight show, so we want to get right on top of it. Well, first news we have here today is, oof, I'm telling you what, this Fallout 66, Fallout 76 debacle is really bad. This is probably one of the worst launches I've ever seen in my life, and there's been some bad ones. This one is really bad. This game is incredibly bugged. It has basically nothing positive about it, hardly, is come out with this. It doesn't work. And this is not a beta or early release. This is a full-on retail release of a Bethesda game. And of course, we've been seeing trouble with Bethesda recently. I mean, we had Fallout 3, which is pretty good. We had Fallout New Vegas, which was excellent. And then Fallout 4 came out, and it really wasn't very good. And this is basically, they just took Fallout 4 and reskinned it and tried to sell it again, is what it looks like. And it's just packed full of bugs. Bugs that Fallout
Yeah.
4 had, and they knew about it. And because these Bethesda games are very moddable, players had actually repaired many of those bugs. But the same bugs were copied over here into 76, but of course without the player patches. So, wow, what a disaster. This is a true trash fire. And of course, the problem
Well,
is coming refunds, right, Denelli?
yeah. And well, here's the problem. Your first day is a 56 gig fixed day one patch.
Mm-hmm. Day 2 was
For a
40 some on.
Yeah, so you're looking about about 200 gigs. 200 gigs patch to fix this. For a console that doesn't work, that doesn't fly. That's basically a whole new game altogether that you're downloading.
A couple,
Yeah. Number 2 on this is using the data outdated game engine that they've been using since Morrowind and Oblivion and Skyrim.
Yep.
And they said that they're going to use this for their next game. I feel hesitant to buy their next game. My enthusiasm just went down, the chute, so to speak. And then third, the refund policy is if you download the game you waive your right to refunds.
which doesn't make sense.
Right.
Now,
How can you know you? Yeah.
yeah, this is the
Ugh.
quintessential cash grab, and it's a really ugly one. Now, Booster, you are a gamer. Um, have you?
I am.
You are. Have you had any involvement with Fallout 76, or have you stayed clear of this absolute disaster?
No. One, I never pre-order games. That's the first lesson you should learn as a gamer. I can't believe people are still falling for this hype nonsense and pre-ordering games, especially Bethesda ones. They're always buggy. Always. They've been buggy since before Skyrim. Bethesda are terrible with buggy games, man, and glitches and everything. And sure, they'll make what a lot of people reckon are great games a lot of the time, big worlds and all that nonsense, right? But my God, they just keep getting buggier. And this one, when will you people learn? Don't
Yeah.
pre-order games.
Do
Stop
not
it.
pre-order. Stop it. I agree. I agree. And the thing, it's also kind of crazy, and this is an overall problem throughout the industry. Actually, not all companies, but a lot of them. The problem is they're trying to put out too many games too quickly, right? And they need to reformat their monetary, objectives, because really these days with the technology we have, you're looking at 2 to 3 years to make a really good game. Really, now that's much faster than it used to be, but you certainly can't be doing one every year. And we've seen a lot of companies get into that trouble, and they're just throw crap games out and then patch it along the way, and that's not cool, man. That This needs to stop, and this is like the worst example of that. It's ugly on every face of it. Tank, if you have anything to add to this conversation?
Absolutely. See, it's the Bethesda, when they announced at E3 during the Xbox exposition, right? Which was amazing. You can go watch it. It's absolutely fantastic. When they said they're going to take the Creation engine and they're going to hybrid it with their Quake engine to create an entirely new game, I was like, "Oh, good. We should see this in a few years then." And they're like, "We're going to release it really soon." I was like, "Oh, no." So this is expected, sadly, sickeningly.
Yeah, but this one was even worse than that normal nonsense they put out. This is really, really bad. I mean, it's just I've been watching, a lot of reviewers like Angry Joe, for instance, and he is a big Bethesda fan, and he gave this a 3 out of 10, and that's really
Ooh.
low for him. He's a big Bethesda fanboy, right? But he was literally screaming and yelling, and I haven't seen him do that in a long time. I mean, that's kind of his shtick, Angry Joe. But he hasn't been very yelly in quite a while. But he was ripped on this one, and he has right to be. But anyway, let's move on from that. But this is really a symptom of the overall problem in the video game industry right now. Not only do you have this kind of these poor practices of putting out unfinished games and then expecting the fans to be patient as you drop these enormous patches on top of it one after the other. You also have this progressivism that's coming in, and it's people are like, "Hey, we don't want it," but it's falling into that category. Get woke, go broke, right? Anyway, let's move on here. Um,
It's not
let's
so much. It's not so much woke or brokenness. It's much laziness and brokenness.
I think it's a lot of little things, but laziness might be part of it. Here we have
Yeah.
some very sad news. Denali, go ahead, take it away, man.
SpongeBob SquarePants creator Steven Hildenberg dies at 57 due to ALS, degenerate disease, which is a disease that destroys the spinal cords and head, and brains, and all that. So it's very tragic that he died at that young age.
It is very young, very, very amazing creator. My kids grew up watching SpongeBob. They loved it. I watched it alongside them. It's very clever. It's a good show, and it's too bad that he should pass away so young. Anybody have any comments they want to add? This is pretty much just sad feelings for the loss of a great creator.
ALS is
2008.
brutal.
Yeah.
ALS is brutal. So, donate to
Uh,
help find a cure because 57 is not a good score. That's way too young.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
is. Shoot, I'm not that
And
far away from it. 9 years.
yeah, and 2018 keeps hitting the hard hit. We have lost a lot of people
We have.
this year that were famous. David Bowie, Stan Lee, just the other week.
Yeah, we
Now,
lost Ricky Jay the other
Stephen,
day.
yeah, Ricky
Yeah,
J.
we've
So
everyone knows who he is. I mean, even if you don't
Prince,
know his name, Prince. Yeah,
yeah,
bad year,
bad
but
year.
yeah,
Mm.
2018. Oh well. And we've seen
Yeah,
a lot of other
SpongeBob.
bad things this year too. This has been I think we're coming to a breaking point, not necessarily with the deaths, but with the absolute disease that is progressivism. It is coming to a head, and I'm kind of wondering where it's going to go. But I see over here Maverick MX says everybody should have seen the warning signs. Yeah, regarding the Bethesda and stuff. Yeah, nope. A lot of us have been saying that for a long time. This is not cool. I remember back when the Conan game came out, and the original one, not that survival game they came out with a couple of years ago. And that was such a horrible launch, and people were like, what are you doing? You put out an incomplete game. You sold it. This is not a early access. This is a full on retail game, and it has just gotten worse and worse since then. But anyway, Booster, you want to make any comments about the loss of SpongeBob's creator?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. For me, SpongeBob was, a massive inspiration comedically, right? Because it is just one of the funniest kids shows ever made. It's not just something that, you know what they make for comedy kids shows, right? It's all gross out humor. It's all weird, postmodern-y. Adults can't really. Well, it's not even really made for kids anymore. They're all made for adults that want to be kids, right?
Yep.
But. mm. But SpongeBob was something that the kids loved and the adults could sit by and they loved it too. Because it's so damn funny. Every episode is written perfectly, plotted out. For the first few seasons, I'd say before the first movie, right? The first movie was great. Everything out there, it was a bit started to lose its touch, but those first few seasons, man, it's so funny. It's pure joy. It doesn't take itself seriously at all. It's not trying to push some agenda on you. It's not even trying to teach you a lesson. All it ever wanted to make you do was be silly and make you laugh.
Yep. It's very clever. Very smart writing. It reminded me. It's a very different style, but it reminded me of the old Looney Tunes. Very good
Yeah.
for kids, very good for adults. It's a family entertainment, and SpongeBob hit that as well. It's very,
Yeah.
very
Why do you
smart.
think it was huge? Like, there were a lot of cartoons like it at the time, right? Let's say, I don't know, your Rugrats, Monsters, Ren and Stimpy, right? Those are all, just before it, right? But SpongeBob took off,
Yeah, it did.
and it stayed around for a long time. SpongeBob was huge, and for a reason. It's just so great.
Yeah, I'd say of that generation of stuff, it was the only thing that really hit and continued because it was so well done. I mean, before that,
Mm.
you had the Dexter's Lab, and you had the
Yeah.
Powerpuff Girls, which was great entertainment. It was really good for kids, but SpongeBob was a little bit after that, and but SpongeBob was wonderful, and it's too bad. It's really sad, and hopefully
Yes.
his family can find some comfort in his genius. So.
Hmm.
All right, guys, let's move on. And since we're talking about that, I think it's quite appropriate to talk about exactly what Booster was talking about here. Now
Mm.
this Shira is supposed to be a show for kids. It's not for kids. This is for 20, 30 somethings that love progressivism and want to yell at the man all the time. And of course, it's literally these days it's actually the man. But this is not for kids at all, at all. But yeah, Denali, introduce this article, please.
So basically, they're very upfront about saying this is a feminist progressive show, which kind of surprised me because usually they don't say that bluntly, but they did. To talk about the underlying meaning of the show, which is abandonment, that the world abandoned them, and how to deal with abandonment issues.
Yes, and
I
okay.
wish I could I wish I could abandon this article because I lost 5 minutes just to make sure I read this right.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what they're covering, and I get the joke. But you know, and to be honest, with you in this day and age with all the single motherhood and stuff that's going on, I guess that's probably is a major concern, actually. To be fair, you know, just to be fair, but it's just if you want to tell that kind of story and you're making some kind of public service and not show, well then make it with somebody else's creation. I mean, make it with your own, because this is someone else's creation, someone else's ideas, hard work, sweat and tears to create this character, and you're just stealing it and you're abusing it. If you wanted to do something like this, fine, make a new character, make a new show, go right ahead. Why do you have to steal the memory of something? Because I don't care about She-Ra at all. I mean, it's not something I grew up with or watched at all, but I feel sympathy for all the people who are big She-Ra fans because they have had their product, the thing that they loved, twisted into something ugly. And I know Tank has some his opinion on that.
Yes, my 14-year-old daughter said that she would rather watch 10 hours of Teen Titans Go than one
Ooh.
episode of She-Ra because, and she said, quote, at least Teen Titans Go has an occasional funny joke.
And Teen Titans Go is really bad. Yeah.
Oh, she despises it worse than broccoli smeared in peanut butter. You know, just it's disgusting to her. And my wife, who grew up with She-Ra and loved the original storyline and the characters, and is now, she's a professional editor. She had nothing nice to say about it. She didn't like the art. She didn't like the characters. She didn't like the storyline. She didn't care about the progressive politics. Part of that, she just said, on its value, on a professional level, it's trash.
Wow. Yep. Well, I haven't put myself through watching it, so I'm not going to really put too much comment on it other than I know there's a lot of angry people. And I don't blame them. Once again, it's the same thing we're seeing happen with Marvel. Leave the old characters alone. Make something new. If you have an agenda and you have something you want to say and you think there's a market for it, go right ahead. Just make your own
Hmm.
thing. Quit
You know,
stealing other people's ideas.
there's a case for this with Steven Universe, right? It's a piece of crap show. It's got those politics and everything. It's just awful. But you know what? It's its own thing,
Yep,
right?
exactly.
Steven Universe wasn't this existing IP that existed for decades that had an entirely different tone and attitude and philosophy towards developing it. That some weirdo just came along and said, "Well, this is a great breeding grounds for my progressive ideals." No, some some weirdo just came along and said, "Hey, I have this disgusting idea for a inhumane, gross show." And it has nothing to do with anything that was previously made. It's my own idea. And so I said, great. And they made this piece of crap show named Steven Universe. But you know what? It has its fans. That's okay. They can enjoy it. I'm not going to give them crap for that. But this She-Ra, it goes against all this. Like, imagine if He-Man comes into this, right? What are the He-Man fans going to think of this?
No, well, yeah, no.
It's just
Hello, He-Man here, saving the
hello,
day.
I'm He-Man. Oh
John,
my goodness! I just
John
had a
Miller's Game of
day.
the System said, "This is a good show. They finally made her into a boy. I need my representation."
Thanks, John.
But
Well, He-Man's going to show up to this show, and he's going to be completely ineffectual.
Yeah.
Despite all of his power and everything, he'll still be big and bulky, but he'll be completely ineffectual and
Bumbling along like,
emasculated.
oh, I just tripped over. Whoa.
And I do apologize,
Yeah.
guys, because the news today doesn't get better. Continuing. Denali?
Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse sequel, an all-female spin-off in the work from Sony. So, and the all-female spin-off is going to be helmed by, Spider-Gwen. Not surprising.
Yeah, well, that's
So-
what they want to make her the main thing. Yeah.
Yep.
First of all, this whole Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse thing, good, bad, I don't know. Fine. I have no problem with it. If it's popular, people liked it, and they want a
I'm not
sequel.
going to lie.
Awesome.
I think it looks excellent. A lot
Yeah,
of people are a lot of people are like, they're weird about it because the director came out as an Antifa supporter. I get how that's troubling. For me, that's not a deal breaker. It looks freaking beautiful. Have you seen that animation? It looks great. You seriously, the coloring on it, the soundtrack, the motion, it's beautiful. I gotta see this movie.
Cool. The problem I have with this headline is all-female spin-off in the works for Sony. Why? When's the last time we had an all-male thing? We don't.
Always crap, man.
Why do we need something all-female? What's the point? You're just
But Chester,
hurting.
every day is all male day.
So, and it's actually going to be helmed by the creators of the same creative team as Voltron, the rebooted Voltron and Legend of Korra.
Oh, Korra was horrible.
So,
That was horrible. And my kids loved The Last Airbender. And so did I, to be honest with you. That was a really well done series. And then Korra was just really not good. And they kept coming into those same issues, same points. And of course they ended it with her walking off into the sunset with her lesbian lover. So it's like, these kids don't want your nonsense. They're not interested in it. This is for you. You're not making stuff for the kids. Stop it. Stop it. And of course, James over here is take that, bigots. And John says, take that, male gaze. And it's like, oh God, it's become so boring. It's so boring,
boring.
and of course it continues,
Shuri just became a Guardian of the Galaxy member. I am Shuri.
Literally.
Yes.
No.
I am Shuri.
She's like literally a Guardian of the Galaxy.
Literally. But the thing about this that kills me is we were talking about this the other day, right? If they had wanted to introduce Shuri as a new character, awesome. Make her something new. Not the new Black Panther, because, you have to make every character female that was male. Make her something new. Make her Savannah, or make her, Plains Cat, or the, whatever. Make her some new thing. Make a brand new character. See if you can do, give it good art, which I think the art looks good, and write it well, and boom, you get yourself a new character. But no, it's just the same old stuff. They've taken Black Panther off the planet and got rid of him in space, so now Shuri can be the new Black Panther, because it's time, right? It's time.
I wonder if this is just a hint of what's going to happen in the future Marvel films when they're going to restructure the Guardian of the Galaxy in Volume 3 or beyond it.
Yeah, but they're really not paying attention to the zeitgeist that's going on, because people are sick of it. They are sick of this stuff. They're sick of it. And now you have something come out that could be a great idea, that just because automatically it strikes you as, oh, they're trying to do it again, you just got to turn your back on it. They've really hurt themselves by doing this. And if you look at this art right here, I mean, what's going on with this? I thought Shuri was young. She looks like some old 50-year-old lady here. What's the up with the art?
Oh, this is the classic Marvel bait and switch. Go scroll back up to the top. Show off that first piece. That's gorgeous. Look at that. That is beautiful artwork. And you go down to where the first panels, and it's like, haha, fooled you. Now you have garbage artwork. What is going on with this?
Pretty good.
Oh, I see how it is, Chester.
Hey, okay, there you go. That was a good Pee Wee Herman, though. You got to take that. But yeah, no, it just continues and continues and continues. And now I'm going to do this next article here because we have an expert. He has been watching the show and drinking every time it's cringy, which he's had a lot of drunkenness lately. So, Booster, take it away, friend.
Back to you, Chester.
You're welcome. Thank you. Denali, go ahead and introduce the article.
Unsurprisingly, Titans have turned Dick Grayson's Robin into a mass murderer.
So what happened in the latest episode of Titans is that they were all captured by a place that just called the Asylum, right? And they're all being prodded at and getting injected with drugs and everything and all sorts of nasty. The Starfire was captured and her fire powers couldn't break her out. And, oh, man, just when you think the show couldn't get uglier, they're like, haha, we fooled you. We got more bad figs to give to you. Hooray. Everything is just... I'm sorry. I can't collect my thoughts, but I really hate this show. So, what happened by the end of this episode was that they managed to escape this place, as you see here, and Grayson saw a couple of big barrels of gas hiding away after they just beat the crap out of a lot of security guards lying around here. And he just says to Corey, do it, because apparently Starfire has fire powers now, right? So she blows up the entire place, making Dick Grayson definitely liable for murder, along with Starfire, because they just murdered everyone in that building, including, the patients that were abducted into the building.
Wow. Yeah, that's not good. That's not good. But there is an interesting connection, though, because one of these episodes they had recently, the Doom Patrol was actually on the show, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so that's kind of cool. And of course, the link with that and the Doom Patrol, if you guys don't, we'll get into that more on the other side, but is the fact that Beast Boy is the only actual character that actually had any success coming out of Doom Patrol. I mean, he's the only one really that broke into the mainstream. Because Beast Boy comes from the Doom Patrol, so.
Who, by the way, in that episode turned into a tiger and mauled someone to death. Just to let you know.
Sweet. It's edgy. It's the new DC. Kill everything.
It's not your grandma's DC.
Oh, goodness.
This is the Batman. Cool DC. Robin says the F word. Whoa!
How many times now? What's the count?
The count is currently at 31.
Sweet. 31 F-bombs because they're edgy and cool and bad. Ooh.
It's so bad.
Yeah. Hello, Sierra Whiskey. How you doing today? All right, guys. Let's see. I think we got time for one more here. We covered those. Let's see. Let's cover. What's this one? No, we did that one. Let's do this one here. Oh.
All right. So, Bleeding Cool is trumpeting. Ironheart 1 has something to rival the Great Power speech. And
what a headline! Just as Stan Lee died, eh? What a bloody headline! It's like, we know Stan Lee was great and all, but did you know this chick just came along with an even better speech?
Right. Those who move with courage make the path for those who live in fear. And bleh.
No one's going to remember that hours after they read it.
There's a lot of vomiting today, Tank. I don't know why. But
this actually sounds like something out of a horrible text. Those who live in courage. What was that phrase again?
Exactly. You can't remember it, can you? Because it's so...
Pave the way for those who live in fear. And it's like, dude, that sounds like something some of the bad guys in history have said. I'm just saying.
Which is kind of funny.
I can't put my finger on it. It's there, though.
Which is kind of funny because I said the same thing in yesterday's episode, that they're making all of their heroes, or the perceived hero, the bad guys. Here, trust me, I know what's best for you.
Well, and it also comes down to dialogue for me. If you look at this, this is a problem they've had for quite a while. Impressive Iron Girl. I have to admit, truly impressive. It's Ironheart, bro. Huh? How old are you exactly? Then we have this other thing. You know what? Good point. And she comes down and she says something that's vaguely intelligent for a second, and then she gets rid of it instantly as she starts talking about the odd. Her dialogue is horrible. Have you guys ever read her dialogue?
And this is supposed to be from a woman from Harvard writing this, supposedly. Not supposedly. From Harvard,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm a science fiction nerd. I loved the science fiction stuff about Iron Man, and I really, really wanted to like this character. I really did. I tried so hard, but she's a villain, and she would make a great villain. A spoiler for heroes, but she's not much of a hero.
More Psycho Eyes from Riri. Man, they just can't help it with her, can they?
That would actually make a better story. Tony Stark's, tries to mentor her, and she becomes a villain. So now it's one of his rogue gallery.
Yeah, no,
A
Zach had
good
talked about
writer,
that.
a good writer can still redeem this character by having them have a little bit of introspection. This
Oh
character can
no!
still be salvaged
I just
with a
read this
really,
line.
really good writer.
You want to play with sound villain person? Let's play. Oh no!
Yeah,
Yeah,
keep
no,
reading
this
it.
is
It gets worse,
garbage.
dude. Keep reading it.
I'm
First things
expecting.
first, just got to do a quick manual override of the audio input boundary so we can really get some down and dirty data in this piece. Oh my gosh, I love alliteration. I'm so,
Ooh,
I'm
I
so
want to
random.
kick through the internet and strike the writer slap in the nose, but there's
Bad
not
science
there's
fiction.
not a
Bad science fiction.
All I'm waiting is for the Spice Girls song to hit.
Oh God, this would be
Tell me
perfect.
what you want, what you really, really want. Don't tell me what you want, what you really, really want. Moving on.
Moving on.
But the
Yeah,
point
go ahead.
is, Rich, I hate you. You stole 5 minutes of my life to read what this was all about.
Okay. Now, next thing we're going to do is we're going to move in here talking about. Let's make sure I have put this up so everybody can see it. We're going to move in and we're going to start talking about the Doom Patrol. Now, um, first of all, I think a lot of people don't really know the Doom Patrol. The first thing to mention about this is this came out in the early '60s, and they have tried to reinvent it many, many, many times. For instance, me with the Doom Patrol, I read some of it in the '80s. But they have tried many times to bring this back. As we mentioned, it was just recently in this Titan show, and they put them in animation. They keep trying to show them, but this is such a weird, quirky thing. And I know one of the first things will be said is, oh, this is where the X Men came from. And you're right. Those guys are constantly stealing from each other back and forth throughout the entire run of DC and Marvel. That's what they do. And yes, Stan Lee stole this idea from DC, but what happened was he made something better because the X Men
And
is still around and hardly anybody knows what the Doom Patrol is. So
and
it's
you know
just the
what?
way it
Your
goes.
favorite characters are probably a ripoff of something.
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
love Batman. He's like a ripoff of Zorro and
The Shadow.
yeah,
The
that's
Shadow. Yeah, exactly. But here in this picture, what you see is like part of the original team. You see Negative Man is the one wrapped in mummy wrap there, and you see Robot Man in the back. You see Elastigirl over here on the left, and you see the Chief sitting in his wheelchair, which of course is a la Professor Xavier. But Now, before we get into reading our comic book today, one thing to keep in mind. Here's another picture for you guys. Um, this book over the ages, over the decades, has had a lot of people on the team. A lot. Um, this is a DC book, but there have been many, 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 many characters have showed up in this book over the years as they constantly try to bring it back and bring it back, and it's never really hit. And today, what we're going to do is we're going to read through an old book, which is going to be interesting unto itself, and we're going to talk about, does this deserve to be more? But as you see here in this picture, this is a more full look at the team by the end of the run, the original run. Although this isn't the original run, but just we had Beast Boy was on there, had Mento or Menta. What was his name, Tonelli? Mento, I think.
I don't think Mento was there by the end of the run.
He was. No, he was. He definitely was.
I know the Chief, Robot Man, Elastigirl, Negative Man was there. I know, what's it? Mentalo, Flex Mentalo.
Okay, and I don't remember what the little wasp girl is called. I forget. But Yeah, so what we're going to do is we're going to read an old book. But before we get into that, I just want to kind of talk to the panel here. We'll start with Tank. Now, Tank, what do you know about Doom Patrol, man?
Not much. Although, ironically, Doom Patrol was my first ever comic book.
Really?
Yes, it was a special gift given to me by someone when I was really little, and I read it to pieces within like a few months. But I had those scraps of that book through my young adulthood. Um, and I always was a big fan of Negative Man. I read issues here and there, but I don't know why. I just never like popped up a subscription like I did with other titles.
Yeah. Well, now you and I both do role playing stuff, and you know mutants and masterminds. I'm assuming. Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so Mutants and Masterminds is a role-playing game. They had their original system, and they kind of went over to the OGL for the D20 system, which is fine. And but in there, of course, they have a lot of their own characters. Anytime you have a role-playing system, you want to have some at least basic, if not simplified, a cosmology. And in that was Freedom City. Was what they based their, and of course there you had the DC universe come in, and there were other things, but of course, they have their own. And with Mutants and Masterminds, a lot of their characters, which are all new, but a lot of them are really based on this early Silver Age period. And there's a lot of stuff that was in this book, Doom Patrol, which didn't start as Doom Patrol. What was it called originally, Danelli? You
It
remember the
was
original name?
My Greatest Adventure.
My Greatest Adventure. Yeah, yeah, yeah. A lot of the characters, villains particularly, that were seen in those pages before it became the Doom Patrol, and we'll see a couple of those characters in today's comic. Actually, they really kind of just cut and paste into Mutants and Mastermind. And any of you guys who play that, you'll see that when we get into it. So we'll come over to Booster. And Booster, any opinion or understanding of Doom Patrol at all?
Yeah, I only know like the absolute briefest about the Doom Patrol. I'm still very new to them. I just started reading Grant Morrison's run,
Uh huh.
and they're an interesting little group. Yeah, I love the idea of Negative Man. I think he looks cool as hell,
Yeah.
and his powers are interesting. Uh, Robot Man's a bit odd. They don't really seem to do that many things that are robotic about him, but like they don't seem to take advantage of the fact that he's a big robot. I feel, but we'll see how that goes. And it's just a bunch of weird characters, and I like it. I want to keep reading it.
Yeah, it is quirky is the word. Ultra quirky. You'll see one of the villains are in the book we read today. It's just so quirky, but they're also because of that, they're very memorable, I think. Now, we're going to jump into look at the comic and start reading it, but just a little bit of a warning. This is written in the 60s. It is really a different time culturally, and it's so long ago that the banter and the pacing of language is really different, and you're going to notice it as we go through it. So just keep that in mind. Let it live where it should be, which is in the early 60s. Okay, so I'm going to go over it and I'm going to bring that up. All right. So here we go. So Superman, DC, National Comics. Interesting, huh, Danelli?
Yep, 12 cents.
Mhm.
12 cents for this comic book issue.
Yeah, but I was making a mention in the
But
National
still,
Comics.
Yep.
This is a long time ago, guys. We have
Hmm.
the comics code is still there. October number 121, 121. Doom Patrol. Nice little bit of cover art there, and of course, very interesting on Elastigirl. They have that very 60s look on her clothing. You
Well,
decide. You decide.
you decide.
What are we going to decide? Is this the beginning
it's
of the end? Oh, you decide. Sweet. All right.
Mm.
So let me go in here, and now I thought this first page I thought was really interesting. It's an advertisement, of course, but it really brings back a lot of nostalgia for me, because I started reading comics in the 70s, and we saw a lot of these kind of things. These days the ads are a little bit different, but this bike right here, this Schwinn, I think it's a Schwinn. I'm not sure, but this bike right here, I had this bike. Now, it wasn't mine, it was a hand me down from my uncle. But I had this exact bike, and that's what I learned to ride on was this bike. So I thought that was really cool when I saw it. Have little Daisy double barrel air rifles, the Tyco road racing sets. There's a lot of stuff in here I actually played with as a kid. The Chemcraft student laboratory with the chemistry set. Oh, there's so much cool stuff. Now, Tank, you and I are the older ones in here. Do you remember any of this stuff?
Oh yeah, no, I love this kind of stuff.
Yeah,
I
it's really
used to
cool.
sell Grit magazine for cash and prizes.
There you go. Yeah, that's right. But yeah, I played with a lot of these things. I actually had a Spalding ball glove, baseball glove. It's very cool looking at these things here. But here from the start, Doom Patrol, the world's strangest heroes. Now, here in the beginning, it's actually the creators are having a chat with themselves, which is kind of interesting. You see that from time to time in comic books. The creators will actually have a chat with themselves in the pages, and that's what's happening here. The death of Doom Patrol? Question mark. So let's see. We got these two guys having a little conversation. The guy with the glasses and the guy without the glasses. Let's the guy with the glasses. Let's say it's Tank, and the guy without the glasses will say is Booster. Go ahead.
It's true, Murray. They will die. You didn't tell me how to finish this page. You're gonna kill our Doom Patrol?
I don't know, Bruno. It's not up to me. Unless the Marines send help. The Doom Patrol will die after this issue. And you, Jolly Reader, you are the Marines. Only you can save the Doom Patrol now, and I kid you not.
Now, that's very interesting because Tank sounds like he should be in Lord of the Rings, and Booster sounds like he should be in the 30s. But continue.
So,
But it would be terrible. We created these nice people with big problems, but bigger hearts.
Like Robot Man, and how he
Like
woke up in a
Robot
hospital
Man.
one day and found.
I'm not Cliff Steele, human being anymore. I'm a 10-man with a real brain. Some lousy joke.
And
Crash.
Rita, who sacrificed her movie career to use her stretching powers to help people.
Don't be foolish, Mr. Premoney. This is the biggest star role I ever played.
And poor Larry, who can't even take off his bandages because he is radioactive.
You win some, you lose some, Bruno. After all, without my condition, Negative Man never would have been born.
And, of course, the chief, greatest brain in the world.
No
Nuts.
nonsense. Go ahead.
No man is more than the sum of all previous knowledge. Well, maybe a tinsy bit more.
And now you killed him? That's terrible.
I told you, it's up to the readers. Later, we'll tell them how they must save the Doom Patrol.
Dun-dun-dun. The beginning of the end. A German lady. That sounds like Booster for sure.
All right, I'll just gotta. There it is, the headquarters of the evil Brotherhood of Evil. We shall be target 0 in 6 seconds. Prepare to release the bomb.
The bomb.
Bomb is ready,
Go ahead.
Madame Rouge.
Meanwhile, in Brotherhood of Evil headquarters.
I could tell you, this woman ruins everything, Maha. But why, Brain? Now that she's no longer with the Doom Patrols. That's just it, you fool. On her own, there's nothing to restrain her. But surely you, the Great Brain, has nothing to fear. I do. Madame Rouge knows that I helped create the fury of evil that burns within her. Therefore, she'll do anything to destroy. Blah, blah, blah.
Explosion. And the death of the brain and Mala. Now, that's interesting because this right here is the character I was talking about, guys. In the Mutants of Mastermind, you see a brain in a jar, and you see a talking monkey as a sidekick. It's so weird and creepy even, but it's actually kind of cool. I don't know. What do you guys think about the brain and Mala?
Love them.
Yeah, no, it's cool. Yeah.
I have just been informed that Madame Rouge is supposed to be French. Whoops.
Is she?
Well, there you go.
I much
I'll
prefer
I'll
her
just
German
update.
though, or Russian. I think it's much better. Madame Rouge is French. Nick W says, "All right, fine. You
Fine.
gotta fix it.
I'll,
Let's
I'll,
continue."
I'll
Yeah.
update it. I'll update it. But
There you go.
I'm still doing a German guy this episode.
Okay. Later at the Doom Patrol's headquarters.
And though the Paris police is still digging for the pieces, there's no question that the brain and his genius gorilla are dead.
There goes another fun group.
That's okay by me.
You missed the point. This is Madame Rouge's doing, and it was meant as a warning to me.
Huh?
Yes, the only woman I ever loved is out to destroy me.
Kablooey, I think you're reading too much romance magazine, Chief. The brain has probably knocked off by some other criminal nut, like the kidney or the lung. What's that? Somebody with a sledgehammer.
Down, both of you, quickly!
Those dirty creeps, they wound an innocent bystander and left him for the vulture. Wait till I get my hands.
This guy needs more than your angle, nickelhead. Fly him straight to City Hospital, Negman. Oh, wait, that's not Negman.
I guess
Then
it's
report back like fast. I think we got a big night ahead.
This is weird. Hold it, Larry. I'll carry you inside till Negman returns to your body. But first, let me pick up these shell casing. They'll have identifying ballistic marks. If you can scroll up a little bit.
A little bit. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. There they are, Chief. A batch of casing and one shell identifier. A dud.
A dud? Maybe and maybe not. Quick, Cliff, jab those under the sofa cushion.
Boom!
Holy cow! That dud was a mini bomb set to explode as soon as I carried it into the house.
Madame Rouge knew you would think of those ballistic marks. She knows all about us. Didn't I generously talk her into our little nest and teach her? God!
Continue on the second page.
Meanwhile, over in rich people's country, well, let me read that again. Meanwhile, over in rich people's country, what? Okay.
Don't forget. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Don't forget about that UMI deal, Steve. We can pick up that company for peanuts.
75 million isn't peanuts, even to me, Jack. But you'll have to answer my free tomorrow after my class in abnormal psych. That was me with jowls.
Okay.
Isn't it wonderful? The fifth richest man in the world still going to school? Yes, but he's not studying he's teaching. It's his hobby.
Man, I'm bushed. I waited up all last night while you were zipping around with the goon gang.
And this is the third business dinner that I had to handle for you this week, Mr. Got Bucks.
Ooh, that feels better. So, if I'm so rich, how come my shoes still hurt? Listen, sweetie, when are you going to leave that band of far-out Boy Scouts?
When they no longer need me, you know that.
Tank.
Here's a bullet. Okay, I'll go. Here's a news bulletin. The home of Dr. Niall Calder, the chief of the famed Doom Patrol, was attacked with the machine guns at precisely...
Why'd you put on your uniform?
Because they still need me. Don't wait up, Cookie.
You and your big electronic mouth. Macaroni drop dead. Goodness.
Crash!
The 60s. Ugh. Later.
Halt, who goes? Oh, it's you, baby.
Good grief, what's going on with you two? Put those shooting rods Put
down
those
those
down
shooting
those shooting
irons.
irons. Not on your life, sweetie. Rogue just declare all out war. So if you want to sign up, this is the recruiting office.
I love how they call her baby and sweetie and stuff like that. It's cute. If you knew what was ahead, girly, girly, you'd burn your draft card. Interesting. Women don't have draft cards. Nevertheless. But all right, let's stop here for a second. Whoo, goodness. We got through it. Oh my God. I don't know what happened to Booster, but his big part is coming up soon. I know he's ready for it. Anyway,
I'm ready.
so what do you guys have to say so far about this book, how it's written and how it's laid out? We'll start with you, Tank.
Well, this is like you were saying. This is a totally different time. So you look at it now, you're like, "Geez, this is so cheesy, so corny." But at the time, it was like this is cutting edge.
Yeah, yeah. Booster?
It's very erratic, isn't it? It covers a lot of events in just a few pages. It doesn't like try to play out a scene or anything. It's just like, and then this happened, and then this happened, and then this happened. It's all over the place, yeah?
Yeah, it is. It is. Denali?
It's kind of interesting seeing a little bit of the art style, where there's some misprints and miscoloring. You got kind of like how flat it is. And now in today's, even though we kind of say the art isn't good compared to this, there's actually more vibrant colors on the page compared to the more two tones coloring that we see right now before us.
Yeah, the art's not bad, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this is all hand drawn, so this is no digital stuff, But Uncle, let me go over here to chat and see what everybody else is saying here. John Dillard says, these characters look stupid. I hate them, and they can't be swayed. Let's listen. Nick W. says, before Jason Todd, there was the Doom Patrol. I don't get that joke, but okay. John Dillard says, Chester, they had comics in Japan when you were a little Japanese boy? Yes, they did. Nick W. says, Robot Man is the thing. In a way, he is. You're right. Joshua Hughes says, then stop trying to... Oh, we don't need that. DeWolf comes in and says, you guys are missing me now, huh? Okay. Hardware Warstead, where's Shreddy when you need him? That's Cecil's shredding machine. Dave, this is awesome. Nick W. Madame Rouge is French, thank you. John Dillard, flops it out. Oh, goodness. Oh, God, this train wreck of a reading is hilarious. Yes, it is. It is a train wreck. Thank you very much, John. What I'm going to do is I'm going to jump ahead a few pages because, copyright and all that kind of stuff. So let me go over here.
It's kind of funny you guys said about the thing because Stan Lee made the Fantastic Four as an answer to the Justice League. So it's like, again, it's all about copying one another. Say, hey, you got the idea, I can make it better, kind of deal.
Well,
and
go ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, I love Robot Man, especially because he's kind of like the OG superhero cyborg. Like, he's a robot body with a human brain. That was the original science fiction definition for a cyborg. And so he's kind of like the template for everything that comes after, the RoboCops and all that other fun stuff.
In a way, yeah. You're right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right, let's pick it up. I've skipped a little bit. Basically, what has happened here is Madame Rouge has attacked their headquarters, their Avengers Mansion, or Xavier's Mansion, I guess I should say, with helicopters and bombed it. And they all were able to survive, of course, but they are they have survived. And we have a government person who is stepping up here to interact with them. It says, later, as the smoke of battle clears...
Man, this looks like London after the Nazi Blitz.
No more like Dante's Nightmares of Hell. Funny. To me, it looks like my pal's PJ O'Mara's Bar and Grill after a Saturday. Not a fun fest.
There is no fun left for us, Robot Man. The open warfare this woman has declared endangers every living thing in this city.
Wow. It's just like, how many opinions of how bad this looks did you really need to put in there? Wow.
right?
Wow.
It's kind of like those old comedian jokes where they just continue on the joke,
Yeah.
but I just keep saying it, and that's how it feels like.
Well, this government guy comes in. He says, "Which is precisely why Washington flew me here, sir, to put an end to this." Inside the man, Wilmer Boggs delivers his finite message. And until we have hunted down this woman called Rogue or Rouge, your very existence here is a menace to the entire population. Now we have prepared a sanctuary for all of you where we can protect you against.
Hold it, Boggs. We fought the Brain, the Arsenal, Mr. 104, you name it, and we destroyed it. So who's going to protect who from what?
But I have my orders. If you don't go voluntarily, deportation procedures will be instantly.
Deportation? You bureaucratic crumb. I'll deport you to the moon with one shot.
Deport the Doom Patrol. I'm sorry, I just had to slip that in there.
Hey, go ahead.
Stop that this second. I'll never lift a giant hand in my life, but whoosh, woof.
Yeah, I've never lifted a giant hand to you in my life. That's kind of an important distinction. Go ahead, continue.
Okay, Chief, you tell him. Tell him nobody wipes the streets with DP.
I'm afraid not. Mr. Boggs, we shall be gone within 24 hours. You may give my word on that to your superior.
Man, this is the worst, the bleeding end. The fabulous, the furious, the fighting Doom Patrol, made to leave the country by some stupid computer in Washington. Blah.
Blah, blah, blah.
Now, it's funny, right? Because actually, until the person over here mentioned the Thing, he is the Thing, isn't he? He's quick to violence. He's a little bit out of control. He uses a very street-level type of language. It's interesting. It is the Thing. Huh. Now, which came first, though? Robot Man or the Thing?
Let me see. Fantastic. Let's see, because Doom Patrol came out in June of 1963, and Fantastic Four came out November 1961.
I see.
So, back and forth.
For sure. And I love this little scene right here. Scram, you cowardly creeps. Boo. Superheroes, ha ha ha. How come you didn't change your uniform colors to just plain yellow? So long,
sure
scared
no.
bye, cranberries, fly away,
These
chickens.
burn. Oh, these burns.
Now, it's interesting, right? Because this is very much what Stan did with the X-Men later, right?
Yeah.
Negman?
Like how fans have all turned out.
Dignity, he says, if I just had a couple minutes with them. Don't pay any attention to them.
Rita is right. We must go with dignity.
Goodness gracious. Now, basically what they're doing is they're leaving, and we're going to skip a little bit of the dialogue, but they're leaving to go to a safe place. But here, the chief says, well, actually, he has a special, ultra secret place set up for them to continue fighting Madame Rouge. And they arrive at this, which looks like Epcot Center, which is kind of interesting. Cheerios, right? And we'll pick it up here and read, because I know Booster's very excited because there's a fun character coming up. But they're on this place. They think they're safe. They think they're in a secret location. But directly below them, 200 fathoms beneath the shimmering surface, which that is not 200 fathoms, by the way, a giant steel shark cleaves the water. Mr. German?
There's the island, Captain Zal. Yeah, Madame Rouge, your plan worked magnificently. You have driven the Doom Patrol straight to the sandy coffin. I have waited long for this glorious moment, for you are not the only one who lives only to kill that man, Dr. Clouder. Fire the demolition squadron! Swoosh, whoosh, whoosh. The radar devices he perfected in World War II destroyed Mein Führer's glorious plan to victory. And the anti-U-boat bombs he invented smashed my own ship and left me to live with a collar to support mine head. But now, together, Madame Rouge, we shall put an end to their chief of the Doom Patrol.
Man, I can't wait to get started on some plan to smash the Rouge lady.
That makes two of us, chum. This one piece of mayhem I'm really gonna delight in.
She can't touch us here.
Interrupted.
Go
Gently, friends, gently. We must lay our plans carefully and flawlessly. Remember, Madame Rouge has a few ideas of her own.
She can't touch us here, Chief. Not here on this impenetrable island fortress.
Bite your tongue, Rita. The impenetrable just got penetrated, but good.
Oh,
Unseen by the Doom Troll, the demolition squad swiftly carries out its mission.
Kaboom. What the? A firecracker from Madame Rouge? No doubt. Some secret headquarter wee pig. Kenny Airport would have been better.
Ha.
Okay.
Go ahead. Okay, Frogman.
Okay, Frogman. Prepare to do some real croaking. Relax, Cookies. I can handle this whole batch. Yeesh. The Rouge lady must have sent her freshman squad. If they don't fight any better than that, the state boxing commission is going to investigate them all.
Wow, geez, so bad jokes. Bad.
What do you idiots think you're accomplishing by blowing up our plane? Negman, could you fly us all out of here in 17 seconds? Or we could build a platoon bridge out of your bodies and walk back.
Whoa. Getting a little dark there, Robot Man.
Look out behind you, huh?
Too late, Elastigirl. Robot Man is a dead man.
There you go, littering the beach again. Beer cans and Coke bottles are one thing, but this is going too far.
Whoosh, thump.
That's what I get trying to be nice. Okay, now I'm sore. This is one belly ache that you won't forget for a while.
Suddenly, as the mighty submarine surfaces... Good grief, it's...
Good.
yeah, Dr. Calder. Your old friend, Captain Zal. An unpleasant surprise, Nine. Especially since their war crime commission declared me dead 15 years ago. Sploosh. And I have 3 more surprises for you, Herr Doctor. Dev weapons you'll see mounted here. First, a special one for negative men. Very special devices for you and your freakish friends.
Nothing but a dud. All it did was blow sand at me. That's your secret weapon, Captain Zero?
That hurts my feelings.
Okay, Negman, go get him. Negman, go!
German? Is it SSP?
I think that's
I think
Your
that's the
command's
chief.
useless. The sandwich. Oh, is it the chief?
It's
Okay.
the chief. It's the chief.
Okay.
Your commands are useless. The sandwich blasted into your skin are completely radio-resistant. Your negative man is imprisoned within you.
don't worry, your big girlfriend will zap Captain Za.
But before Elastigirl can expand to full height, whoosh.
A steel net. I can't expand any further until I break out of this. But at this size, I haven't the strength to bust out.
Cool it, Strutch baby. Robot Man's on the way. Go ahead.
Man, this is easier than breaking a shoelace or 2 or 3 more of these, and you'll be out of, kid. Good thing you don't have to worry about your teeth.
But before he can snap a second strand.
Ah! I can't move my legs. What is it, Chief? I've taken heavily charges of electricity before.
But that's a magnetic charge. That shot permanently magnetized half of the tiny motors that activate you. All right, Captain Zal. You and Madame Rouge have won this round.
But the round is not yet finished. Madame Rouge and I have one goal in common, Herr Doctor. Your complete humiliation. This horror dot I must wear for a neck. You bestowed it upon me, and now I shall have even their humiliation. What do you prize above all else, my democratic doctor?
What are you getting at?
Your image of freedom, fighting line? You would love to die for glorious mankind, yeah? But would you die for the smallest part of it?
Stop these blasted riddles! Speak your rotten mind!
Would you die for a handful of stupid, ordinary men, eh? A small, crumbling town in New England, Codsville, Maine? 14 useless fishermen. They die in 2 minutes, or you do!
You're bluffing.
You know better, Herr Doctor. I hold in my hand 2 plunges. One will blast Codsville off their map, or the other will sink this island, and all of you. But word we say is being but every word we say is being broadcast to the world. When you make the logical choice, all will know that the great chief loves his skin first like any man. 2 minutes!
You heard him. 14 ordinary men, strangers to us. Well, my comrades, you must decide.
Strangers, Chief? Didn't you teach us all men are our brothers?
The Pilgrims, they were just ordinary men too, not a genius among them.
Wow.
And the Hebrew children who wouldn't bow to the Pharaoh were ordinary shepherds and farmers.
So, French accent. How do I differentiate it from the German one again? All
Why
right.
don't they answer? Why don't they wait for you? This is written in. This is not French. That's Russian.
You think so?
Yeah, just go ahead, dude. Do the original voice. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. Why don't they answer? What do they wait for? Remember, Zal, you agreed that they will not die. Never fear, madame. They will not sacrifice their precious Doom Patrol for nothing. For nothing.
Here is our answer, Captain.
Fire away!
Fire away!
Fools, heroic fools, so be it. No, Zal, don't do it. You swore to me, man.
Wow, that just became Latin. I mean, all right, fine, okay.
I got
Now,
to decide what
Enough.
this
All right, guys. So basically, he blows up the island, and actually kills them. That is the last of them. They are dead.
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 Out of here. Gone.
Yeah. So, it's very weird, quirky little story. It's a quirky writing. It's odd. I mean, like some of these references, like right here, when they're making a decision of what they should do. Where is it here? Right here. Yeah, it's ordinary strangers, strangers thief. All men are brothers. You know, very good things. The pilgrims were just ordinary men too, not a genius among them. I don't know if I agree with that. The Hebrew children, and they bow to the fairy, just ordinary shepherds and farmers. It's interesting references, right? It's out of nowhere. It's so heavy-handed for no reason. Especially this dude here, who just wants to kill and break everything, and all of a sudden now he's talking about Jewish children and ordinary shepherds and pharaohs. What?
Yeah,
Weird.
it does seem very out of character. He
Yeah.
was just a mindless brute at first.
Well, he said he who wouldn't bow down to the pharaoh, or ordinary shepherds,
That's
and
not the point. It's just the reference is out of
but
place, dude. It's a
yeah,
biblical reference. And in a small New England town, they all agreed that Cottsville is dead, and from now on they shall be four heroes main. I mean, it's such a weird thing. And let's come over to chat real quick and let you guys think about how you want to sum up this comic. But what are the words? See, John Diller says, I was wondering if this book was hip and relevant when it was released. The comics today seem to be instantly outdated and cringy with the selfies, literally can't evens and whatnot. Interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
no, that's true.
yeah those date themselves. This is a bit, it's silly today, right? But it's still entertaining as hell. In 10 years or so, comics that came out today will be unreadable. Well, they already are, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, he continues by saying, I think these dated references as speech is acceptable. Not every comic is meant to be timeless. This is all just good fun. Doesn't seem cringy. They seem to earnestly be trying to have a fun adventure. Yeah, yeah, it is. It's very
Yeah,
straightforward.
absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, well, anyway, the the book itself. First off, what do you guys think of the book itself?
I just want to do it. Have an excuse to do a silly German accent. I'm not gonna lie to you.
True.
so it's kind of interesting because when you're talking about the creator, the artist Bruno, um, there, but the writer Arthur Drake had left Marvel after not Marvel, but DC and went to Marvel after a payment dispute and fair, wages and working conditions with Murray, which is the editor at that time for the book. And basically, he got fed up and quit like two issues beyond before they canceled this book. So that's why they had kind of Murray as a stand-in instead of Arthur Drake as the author, and it was probably a gimmick before the whole Jason Todd, do a phone call because they were also Doom Patrol was also doing it and say you the reader decide if they will survive or not.
Right. Yeah, I see.
At
I
that
see that
time,
point.
and as you saw right now, they killed off the original character, which true to a lot of DC's, continuity, they kept true to that fact for several issues. Even with Grant Morrison, they tried to revive it before that time, and it failed. They only got 3 more issues out of that new revival, and then it got relaunched back in after post crisis, which is I think late 70s, late 80s, somewhere around there. Got to remember what time, what day, what years that was. And the person who relaunched the Doom Patrol was getting to be canceled. So he stepped aside for Grant Morrison to write volume 2 of the revitalized Doom Patrol. And you know how Grant Morrison goes all weird and crazy for that quirkiness. So
Sure.
Quirky went weird pretty quickly.
It is weird, and Paul Hazzett wants us to know that although he doesn't think the comic book is cringy, our voice acting was. So, thank you.
I thought it was
Yep.
perfect.
It was perfect for the year.
Yeah, it's very. One of the things I loved reading this, actually rereading this, was just the dialogue and the culture of the period. It was really really interesting. I kind of suggest you guys go back and read some of these 60 things if you have a chance. It feels so different than modern day culture.
Right. And then Derek Tyler says the Kupperberg run I enjoy. Was he responsible for the new Doom Patrol? Yes. So he was the one for the new Doom Patrol that eventually went over to Grant Morrison. So I think Grant Morrison took over after issue 18 of the new Doom Patrol. But the first 18 issue was Kuppenberg, and he was doing it, but they didn't like it. So to keep it alive, he stepped aside from that run. And I think Eric Larson wrote for Doom Patrol issue 5 and some other, big names that we knew at this time, but I can't recall them. But I know Eric Larson jumped at me for that one.
Interesting. Yeah. What do you think, Tank?
Oh, I thought it's fun. This is one of those classic adventures comics. I loved this type of stuff, like the Challengers of the Unknown and
Yeah.
wacky adventures with just completely off the wall endings. like it's like a it's like a Scott Snyder, Michael Bay ending. It doesn't know how to wrap it up, so we're just gonna blow everything up at the end.
Yeah. Huh. Exactly. Yeah. All right. Well, I guess the question now is, what do you think about Doom Patrol overall? Now, I read Doom Patrol. I didn't read the '60s run. I read the '80s run, and some of it, and I didn't really care for it very much. I didn't think it was. I just didn't have much fun with it. This book was actually more fun than that stuff. What do you think, Denali, about the Doom Patrol overall?
I think it was underrated. It really needs a writer who knows, what it is. Because if you think about it, Arthur Drake also created Guardians of the Galaxy, and it wasn't a big seller. But you got somebody like James Gunn who got the whole quirkiness and made it work. So you need somebody similar to that caliber, of quirkiness to kind of make it work and be relatable. And I think it would be as popular as the X-Men and everything, because it's the same thing. They have flaws, they have big hearts, they have their own dilemma. They're not gods trying to be humans, they're humans trying to be gods, which is the reverse kind of deal.
Uh-huh.
And if you kind of tie them with the magic aspects, where and where not the superheroes, like Batman, Superman are, but go into another niche where the world is not really known for, I think you could have a solid story with them.
Okay, interesting. Tank, what do you think overall?
I always loved the concept of the Doom Patrol, but the execution always seemed kind of like hit or miss. I think they're underrated, but also undertreated. They're not. They haven't. I think with a really good writer that can actually capture the original adventure feel and mesh these personalities together, could really knock it out of the park. So yeah, underrated.
Interesting. Booster?
Oh, I definitely want to learn more about this team. They're just odd little characters, but they're so unique. I don't think characters like this has been done before, like Negative Man and Robot Man in particular. We've seen 100 of stretch characters, sure, and of course this is where Beast Boy came from as well, so that's really cool.
It is.
And man, I have no faith in the Doom Patrol show if it's anything like the current Titans one, right?
No.
So, oof.
Well, I'm going to give
underrated. I want to see more about them.
So it's underrated, you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe my opinion is a little controversial then, because I think this is incredibly overrated. Other than the name Doom Patrol, which is cool, I think it's absolutely useless. We don't need it anymore. The X-Men are much better, and that's all it is. The X-Men are basically taking the same idea. I just don't think we need it. I think the name is cool. I think the reading the old stuff is fun and quirky. It's awesome. But you have to understand, it took them 80 comics to get to the point where they understood what they were doing. And then that's when they called it the Doom Patrol. 80. So this was something that was it took them a long time to flesh out what they really wanted to do with this series. And so really what you're looking at is 80 to 123, 124. That's it. That's the only original run. So it's about 50 books, right? I personally just think it's incredibly overrated. I don't need it. The X-Men are better.
How dare you?
That's what I think.
Such a Marvel fanboy
wrong.
talking, but yes.
I guess so. Disgraceful.
So sorry.
Remember, X-Men killed Marvel because anybody could be born with superpowers. So they became generic.
Mhm.
Hey, I'm a mutant. I'm going to be part of the X-Men. What can you do? I can glow.
Uh-huh. hmm Okay.
Yeah.
You got to tell me that the X-Men stories aren't better than these?
Depends which ones, because if you're asking for the '90s, and now they're all horrible.
Yeah, I'm talking about the
I think
original runs, yeah.
I
Anyway,
think he's
let's
got
come over
the
here.
finale.
Derek says, oh, here, you already read that. Dave says, the old stuff is great because it's a reflection of culture and society. That's why the stuff made now is important too. I guess in a way, but the problem is they're just so poorly written today. Now, I guess if we compare the writing today to that, I don't know, I'd say that was better written. It's quirky, it's odd to us, but I think the writing is actually fair. Um, Good Dog Press is here. He says Chester's Playhouse, awesome. Robot Man is awesome. Vailnit says X Men are so much better. So Vailnit and I agree, and you guys are wrong. Right, Vailnit? I think so. Good Dog Press says, no, Lord Bias, don't say it. I do apologize. But I just don't need it. I have X Men. Although I think reading these old ones, I am going to read some of these now because I had never read those. I read the '80s run a little bit, and it wasn't good. I'm going to go back and read these because I think they're a lot more fun. So I think the original has its value, but I don't think we need it anymore. And it's going to be very cringy to see what they do with it. A spin-off from Titans. Is Titans that
Ugh.
successful that it needs a spin-off? Really?
Well, it's already got a bloody second season, right? And
Yeah.
but you know what? What we've seen from the Doom Patrol and the Titans show, it was probably the best episode. I'm not gonna lie, and the characters were, I don't know, they were fun. They're actually kind of fun, even though it was still a bad episode by all means, because it was the best episode of the series, though. So
Maybe away from the Teen Titans showrunners, and actually Doom Patrol will be more fun. Who
if it's got
knows?
a different director and writers, I will be far more interested in Doom Patrol.
Yeah.
All right.
And if
Well,
they cut down with the swearing, bloody hell.
yeah. Well, that it's just so cringy. The new Titans. It's just cringe upon cringe upon cringe. It's not the Titans. It's not the original characters. They've twisted it. It's just not Titans. But if they come out with a Doom Patrol, which they are, I'm definitely going to check it out though. Because, like I said, for nostalgia's sake, I think they're a fun little group. I just these days, I don't know if we need them. But then again, does DC have any good team books that are kind of equivalent to a good X-Men book when it gets written? Because a lot of the X-Men stuff these days are really bad, but every now and then we get something pretty good actually. I don't know.
You know, you keep saying I don't need it, but if they hit it off the park, it's something that we didn't know we needed, but we wanted it.
Yeah.
And I think Doom Patrol is one of those series that right now, because of how it's been written and been presented, you feel like you don't need it. But if they do a really good story, and follow through, then you're like, this is a story that I didn't know I needed, but I want it and I want some more of it. And I'm hoping there's a writer there who can make it happen.
Yep.
You know,
I would love to be proved wrong. That would be a lot of fun actually. But
yeah.
the simple problem of the matter is, we know what's going on at DC. There is a single guy who is trying to bring his agenda in. His name is Dan Didio. And Bendis is just his thug, dude. And I can't expect anything good coming out of DC because they're just rushing toward their attempt to turn DC into Marvel. And Marvel is rushing toward getting rid of every interesting character and making them a progressive simp or symbol. So this is what's going on in the big two. And the problem is, Image and IDW aren't doing much better. So I don't know. Really, what I'm hoping for is the stuff we're getting will be better. I just got Flying Sparks today in the mail here in Japan. So thank you, John Delarose. And I have to say that the production value is not what I expected. It's a bit lower than I expected, but the art looks pretty good. I flipped through it, and I'm going to give it a good read here this weekend probably. We are starting to get these books, these indie books that we've been backing, and we're going to have to see how they go out. I know Denali's got a few of them, and we're all waiting for some of the big books, but we're we're not going to get them for a little while. I think Mike will be the first. But what do you
Right.
think, Denali? You've gotten several of these books in your hand. What do you think? Are they stacking up? Are they better than what we have to offer, which is the intention?
I'm rereading them and I'm collecting my thoughts. I think, to be honest, it's really our miss. Um, but these are all investment because we're trying to move forward with it. So I'll probably collect more of my thoughts, reread them, and kind of let it settle, um, and kind of give them a second chance. Because the first reread through, I wasn't really impressed. But then, I took my expectation out of it, of what I wanted, and kind of reread it and enjoyed it as it is, and it kind of improved, my reading of it. So, and I'm just letting it settle again to say, hey, I read this comic book a couple times, and here's actually my thoughts after rereading them.
Okay, fair
Mm-hmm.
enough. What about you, Tank or Booster? You guys gotten any books yet?
I haven't, but I've been pretty broke, so I've just been tossing in a buck here or there without promise of reward, just to
Oh, I
try to
see.
help out, and I plug as much as I can.
I see. Well, I
Oh,
backed a bunch of them, so I have some coming in. Denali is an absolute super backer, but Booster?
I've only backed 3 books so far. Jawbreakers, uh, Black and White, and Bigfoot Bill.
Yep.
Interesting
Yeah.
choices.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think Zach's mentioned that Jawbreakers is at the printers now. So I guess in January we should see them being shipped out. Um, we have Ben Hennessy, who said yesterday that he's stopping the campaign and sending them off to the printer. So in 3 weeks, um, he should start fulfilling those orders.
Which is cool.
So that'll be another book. And then the next batches that I'm really excited for, which is between February and April, are the next set of Indiegogos that said that's the time estimate, which is Red Rooster, Bigfoot Bill, Brand. You see, Lone Star's in the printer as well, so that's just waiting for them to come back. So that's another one, and a couple other ones. Update for Arkham case files. The Adventure of Hank Flynn. They're still waiting for funds from Indiegogos, so that's why they haven't sent out any of the Indiegogo merchandises and perks yet, because until they receive the money, they're not sending it out.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the current update on that.
Yeah, me
which
personally,
is fair.
I'm certainly looking forward to Lone Star and Red Rooster. I hope those get out. Of course, Ethan's. I think this one's going to be super late. I mean, but we'll just have to wait and see, I guess.
Right. And then Trump Space Force, I think once Tim Lim is finished with his vacation and signs the book, I think they'll be shipped off as well. So, on their way. So,
Yep. We'll have to wait and see.
a little
Yeah,
bit.
Vale and Cyberfrog. Yeah, we're waiting for that. It looks absolutely killer. I mean, the pages he's doing on it looks spectacular. I can't wait to get it.
Yep. So, it's just being patient. A lot of people don't realize with campaigns like such as these, you have to have a little patience as well.
You do.
But a lot of people come in and they kind of expect that, turnaround. If they said, hey, we're expecting it this time, you kind of expect it at this time kind of deal. But, it's a live and learn process. That's why what Tim Lim said when he was on Fanspeak the other day was, hey, you don't take all the money because you never know if you have to refund things or things happen. You may want to have that money available as well for everything.
It's true.
So.
Yep. Derek Tyler gives off a list of the things he's waiting for. Yeah, we're all waiting, and hopefully, with our fingers crossed. Like I said, the Flying Sparkle one, I haven't read it yet, but it looks good. The art looks really good, so I'm hoping it's a good book, and it's a lot to read in it. But we'll keep talking about fulfillment, and as those things come through, we'll give our reviews on this channel as well. But we're going to go ahead and wrap this up today. Thank you guys very much for joining us for the news and Doom Patrol. Doom Patrol is a very quirky thing, and I really do suggest, if you can get a hold of it, go read that old '60s run, man. It's fun, it's weird, and it's very quirky. Perfect use of the word. I think you might enjoy it. And we'll see what they do in the future. Hopefully, I'll be proved wrong. But you know, beyond that, let's go ahead and wrap this up. Tank, why don't you go ahead and talk about the project that you're working on, and the project that you and I are working on?
Well, you and I are working on an incredible project called Tales from Beyond the Gate, which is going to be an anthology. Oh, man, we have some rock stars showing up in there. I'm not at liberty to tell you guys who all is showing up. It's, kind of like Men's Warehouse. It's so good, I can't tell you how good it is.
Yep.
But yeah, it's overwhelmingly an honor to be working alongside such skill and talent. So it's good. The first one's going to be a horror anthology. It's going to chill you to the bone, and you're never going to look at the shadows the same way again.
Yeah, there are some good stories, that's for sure. And there's some amazing talent and some special Easter egg pros as well. So it's all cool. And what about your project that you're working on, Tank?
Oh, right now I am working on Scalpel Zero, which she'll be making an appearance inside the Tales from Beyond the Gate.
She will.
My little cyber droid here. Yes. So I'm working on her debut issue, a prologue to a longer story. So I really hope you guys enjoy this. I'll be leaking some good stuff out on the Good Dog Press, probably tonight.
Cool. Awesome. And Booster, how is that 1 million subscribers with no content coming? How is it coming along? You must be up around what 500,000-600,000 by now.
I don't recall saying 1 million. I think I said 100,000.
100,000. You sure you didn't want to say like 100?
100? I don't know. I'm pretty sure 10,000 is a reasonable goal. Let's go with 1,000. So yeah, I'm going for 100 subscribers, lads, without any content. I'm currently at 26, but I definitely need a bit more help. So if you could just subscribe, that would be swell.
Swell. All right. Thank you very much, Booster. And Denali, go ahead and take us out, man.
All right. So remember, tomorrow we'll have our usual Comics News Today at 8 p.m. Eastern. On Thursday, Drawn and Quarter Fan Edition will be on Pencil 4 Live channel at 10 p.m. Eastern on Thursday. And then Fan Speak at 8 p.m. Eastern, the usual time. And we'll have Johnny Allen, the creator of Stickman, which is currently has an Indiegogo project on. Thank you for joining us. Hit that like, subscribe, and share button if you haven't. Help us grow this community. If you enjoy this content, and share with your friends and talk about it. We like conversations. And join us on the Fanspeak page on Facebook, because I post up a lot of news, and we want to hear from you as well. So, don't be hesitant. Jump in the water with us as well. But as always, your perception shapes your reality. So always make it a good one.
Namaste.
Namaste. Later, guys.